I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting of the Coos Bay City Council to order. And if I could, Janet, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a full audience here today, and we have a full agenda. In building here. I want to mention that we have councilors online. We have Mayor Joe Benetti and Councilor Stephen and Councilor Matthews are online. Is there anyone else? I can't read that. Okay. All right, so our first item on the agenda is public comment. Do we have any members of the public that would like to make a public comment? If you have comments specific to an agenda item, I would encourage you to wait until that. I'm going to do that too. Can you hear us now?
We can. It's a little muffled though. Can you hear us?
Yes, it's not very clear or loud.
We can hear you fine.
There's feedback though.
So when Christine muted her computer, now we can't hear anything. So the council chambers are still showing muted online.
Legitimate quorum.
There it is. You got it now.
All right. You can hear us now? All right.
Yes, we can. Much clearer.
Person, Eric Kirby. Are you speaking in general? Did you want to wait for the public hearing? Oh, that's urban renewal. Sorry. All right. We'll wait until the public hearing. Okay. So we don't have any public comments, so we will move on to the consent calendar. And how would the council like to proceed?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent calendar as presented.
I'll second that.
Right, we have a motion to accept the consent calendar and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is a presentation from the Coos Bay School District. Doesn't look like he's here. He was here last meeting. All right. If he comes in, we'll go back to that. Right now, we have a presentation of the audit for fiscal year 24-25 by Tara Camp, CPA of Clear Trails CPAs. So I will turn it over to Tara. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and fellow council. Can everyone hear me okay?
No, it's really quiet.
Oh, no.
We can hear you well online.
Yes, we can. I can't hear
Hello.
the council chambers very well.
Let me see if I can turn up my volume.
Mr. Mayor, can you hear Tara online?
We can hear her loud and clear.
But you can't hear the council chambers?
I can hear you now. You are much clearer. So
All right. Well, thank you for having me here this evening. My name is Tara Camp, and I'm an auditor with Clear Trail CPAs, and we are the financial statement auditor for the city. And so I'm here this evening to present the results of the June 30, 2025 financial statement audit. So what I'll do is go over the governing body letter that's issued with the audit, and I can also take questions at any time. And if there's anything that's not clear or that you can't hear, please let me know. So the purpose of our audit for this city this year was threefold. We performed the financial statement audit, And that is where we're testing the financials created by management in order to determine if they're fairly stated. Secondly, we perform the Oregon Minimum Standards Compliance Audit, and that is where we're looking at various laws and regulations to ensure the city is in compliance with those. And lastly, this year, we performed the federal single audit because the city received more federal funds during the fiscal year. That requires us to dive really deep into some grants and look at the compliance requirements to ensure the city is in compliance. So the results of the city are excellent. For the financial statement audit, we issued an unmodified opinion. That is a clean opinion with no reservations. For the Oregon Minimum Standards audit, we found no exceptions or issues requiring comment, except as noted on page 94 of the audit report. There was some very minor procedural budget items we picked up on. And lastly, for the single audit, we found no items of question costs and no non-compliance. So very good overall. This year, the city implemented a new accounting standard called GASB Statement 101 for compensated absences. It's a new reporting model for all governments to record compensated absences, so that's reflected in the report. And other items that we're required to communicate is that we had no difficulties in performing and completing our audit. The city and the finance office are always wonderful to work with, highly professional, and do excellent work. So I want to thank everyone there for their very hard work. It's a lot of work getting an audit done and getting such good results. We also had no disagreements about accounting or auditing items. Lastly, in our letter, we cover future accounting and auditing items coming up. There's always new accounting standards every year. And so we'll work with the city to make sure that those are implemented timely for the future audits. So overall, excellent results, and I would be happy to take questions if you have any.
I don't have any. I was able to review the audit prior to the meeting. Do any other counselors have any questions? And seeing none,
None here.
then I would, Carmen?
I just said none here.
Okay. How would the council like to proceed?
I'll make a motion that we accept the audit for the fiscal year 2024, 2025.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion to accept the fiscal year 2024 and 2025 audit and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Tara, thank you very much for your work and appreciate all the work that staff did to get this ready and appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a good
We'll
evening.
see you
I'll
in
see
a
you
little
later
bit.
at the next meeting. Thank you.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is our semi-annual presentation by the Coos Bay North Bend Charleston Visitor and Convention Center. And Janice Longlinay is here to present.
Thank you very much. Mayor Benetti, City Council members, city staff, and members here in the public. It's always a pleasure to be able to present to you our semi-annual report. So let's see if this will work. I think it's going. Okay, good. So a couple of things. I usually try and start with the budget. As a reminder, the Visitor and Convention Bureau markets our area as Oregon's Adventure Coast. We are funded through the Transient Lodging Tax, TLT, that comes in through the City of Coos Bay, the City of North Bend, the Coquille Indian Tribe, and Coos County for an area around Charleston. We receive 39% of the lodging taxes that are collected. So that's what we have to do the work that we do. And with the monies that we get for the VCB side of things, we have marked a 26-to-1 return on investment for the monies we spend to market and advertise our communities. So I'm showing you this because we did do a supplemental budget at our last board meeting. We added about $91,500 to our fiscal 26 budget. This was from carryover from the previous year, as well as some grant funds that we received that we did not budget for because we did not hear in it far enough in advance when we were doing the budget. So we received $42,500 from Travel Oregon to help with our new website and making it completely accessible for everyone. We also received what we had budgeted, $20,000 for the Holiday Light Shuttle. We received $23,000 for the shuttle this year, and so that's also added into the supplemental budget. Any monies that were carryover by the Visitor Information Center, on this chart it's denoted as VIC, went into the VIC budget for this fiscal year. So when we ever have carryover, we try and make sure that the carryover, because the agreement we have with the City of Coos Bay to run the Coos Bay Visitor Information Center is separate from what we do for the VCB. So that's the funding. We have 53% of our income, and we have only spent about 40% of our expenses to date. This is an interesting slide. I have never shown y'all this before, but every month I get a report from our advertising agency that shows the top searches that bring back our website as one of the top 5 results, Google searches. Steve Prefontaine and Prefontaine is the #1 search result every month. So I looked at the 2 months when we actually promote the Prefontaine Memorial Run. This year just happened to be the 50th anniversary of his death. We had 27,000 searches in the month of August for Steve Prefontaine or Prefontaine. There were 33,000 searches in September for Steve or Prefontaine. And in all of 2025, 324,000 times somebody searched Steve Prefontaine and Prefontaine. 50 years after his death, he is still a really popular search term. And that's why we do a lot more running promotions with our marketing that we do. Just wanted to share some things since the last time we saw you. This is the Bay Area Fun Festival. This is what we did for marketing that big event. Digital run of site, homepage takeovers with our media partners, Google SEM is search engine marketing, and retargeting, newsletters, social media. Now these are sponsored, so these are other media's newsletters and social that we are on. We also did some additional targeted advertising in Denver and San Francisco for the pre-run this year, targeting, of course, runners to see if they would come in on those flights that we have. Between the 2 months of our marketing for that, we had 13,000 page views on our website for the Bay Area Fun Festival, Cruise the Coos, and the Prefontaine Memorial Run. The Santa Shuttle was extremely successful this year. We took 5,342 patrons to the lights on 19 nights of the shuttle. The shuttle ran Friday, Saturday, Sunday, plus the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve. If you compare it to what we did in 23 and 24, in 23 we had 21 nights. That was the longest run of holiday lights because of when Thanksgiving fell. And we took a little over 4,100 people. The next year we had 19 nights like we did this year. So in 24 we took almost 4,400 patrons. This year we almost added 1,000 to that. And we had to add a third bus to Saturday nights midway through the run because it was so popular. I went out there on a Saturday and the line was like all the way to Monkey Business. So it was a long line. We also received $23,000 to pay for the buses. Also, marketing for holiday lights, huge for us, November, December, that's our biggest campaign. Again, we did all of the digital things, digital run of site, homepage takeovers, print. We also do broadcasting. For this one, we have QR codes on our broadcast advertising as well as on our print. And I'll get to that in just a second, but we also do, again, the SEM, the remarketing, social and newsletters that are sponsored of somebody else's, but we also do billboards along the I-5 corridor for Holiday Lights. It's a big event for us, and we want to bring people here in the winter. So you can see we worked with 11 media outlets plus the billboards, and we had 31,000 page views on our website for Holiday Lights, and people were getting information and clicking off to book their ticket or coming. Also from the broadcast and print ads, we had another 409 click-throughs to our website. It's harder to catch that QR code when you're on TV. We also have our own owned media. These are the things that we control. That's our website, our social media, our blog, and our newsletter. And from our social media ads, so we also pay for ads on social media. From our social media ads, we had 105,000 impressions and 8,700 click-throughs to our page from just our social media. This is what we're running right now. We had a very successful campaign, Denver to OTH, that ran all summer long. And so we thought, we've never marketed in San Francisco because it's a really expensive media market. Well, we decided to try the same campaign. So it's basically the same graphics and look. It just says SFO to OTH. Our targets included quick trips, people who were searching quick trips, regional flights. We're also doing a bucket list campaign out there. We launched this in South San Francisco, which is closer to the SFO, to the San Francisco airport, and on the BART route. So that's the Bay Area Rapid Transit. We've only had it up for a month and a half, but I only have numbers for December, and we had almost 900 click-throughs to our page, which was really impressive in my opinion. Other campaigns that we have running, the Unpack Once is our bucket list campaign. We also, Crab Feed's coming up, in case y'all don't have it on your calendar. Valentine's Day is Crab Feed in Charleston. And of course, storm watching is a big one that we do at this time of year as well. So those are all running right now. This is our new campaign. We're so excited about this campaign. This is called the Local Vacation Loot Winter Promotion. So what we did was we worked with our hotels to include these kind of discounts to people who stay for 2 nights. So somebody has to book a 2-night stay with this promotion, and they'll get $120 worth of vacation loot. And I'll explain what that is in just a second. This is our rack card that's going to go out to everybody who requests a visitor guide from us over the next 2 months. The promotion runs February 1st to March 31st. And we are doing, of course, all the same kind of advertising, digital and Google ads, homepage takeovers, sponsored social, sponsored newsletters, and our own owned media. This is sort of what our ads look like. So what we're trying to promote is not only coming and staying in a hotel, but doing some of the adventures that we have, fishing, kayaking, and going out in the dunes. We have 8 hotels. This is a hotel-only promotion, so our 8 hotels are participating. We have 10 restaurants and 7 outfitters. What they'll get when they book this 2-night stay, they will get 2 $50 coupons that they can use toward the cost of a charter fishing, an ATV rental, or a tour, or the kayak. So I think it's like a half day or a full day kayak rental. So they get 2 of those, or they can dine out with it. So they get an option. They'll get a coupon that they can go to any of our 3 museums for free for 2. And then they'll also get a 20% off discount coupon for the Coos Bay Visitor Information Center and the North Bend Information Center. We both sell merchandise. So that's what they'll get, and we are really stoked about this promotion. When they book, the hotel will then call us, tell us they have a booking. We will get their packet ready with a welcome letter and all their coupons, and then we'll take it and they'll have it ready for them when they start, or when they get in. And I always end my presentations with the stats for the Visitor Information Center. So we had a really good year. While it appeared that occupancy in our hotels was down, we still saw a lot of people coming through the Visitor Center every month, especially during the summer. We saw 21,457. That's one of the highest years we've had since before the pandemic. And since the advent of all the digital stuff where people are like, I don't need to go to the Visitor Center, I'll just look it up on my phone. we found that people were coming back. Our volunteers gave us 2,700 hours of their time over the last year. We mailed 11,700 visitor guides. Now, those are leads that come to us not only from people asking for our visitor guide off of our website or calling our phone number, but through Travel Oregon. So we get leads from Travel Oregon. And we sold almost $33,000 worth of merchandise, which is really awesome for us. So we don't make a lot off the merchandise, but it brings people in and it gets our city's names and our logo and our brand out into the world. So that's my presentation tonight. I'm happy to take any questions. And as always, anytime anybody has questions, you can always call me.
Well, thank you so much. Yes. Great presentation as always, and we appreciate you coming and giving us an update and all the work that you're doing to bring people to our community. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
And you may not know the answer to this, Janice, but of the people that came to the visitor center, you say our occupancy was down a little bit, but you had increased people coming into the facility. Were you able to ascertain, are those people that have their own vans, you know, the little Sprinter vans and
yes.
doing their own camping sort of thing?
So we did start asking, and we're actually going to do a survey every quarter with people who come through the visitor center, asking them how they heard about us, where they're staying, and some other general questions. What we heard was a lot of them were camping, or they were staying in vacation rentals.
Okay.
So while the VCB and the Visitor Information Center still benefits from the funds from those, if they're in our taxing district, our hotels are what we track. And when the hotels are down, it looks like we're all down.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'm curious, if Prefontaine is the number one search, what's the number two?
Oh, gosh.
I'm just curious.
I'll have to go back and look at that. That one actually changes every month, so it just depends. But I'll go back and I'll get that answer for you.
Okay, cool.
Anyone online?
Well, I'm just an advocate of, tourism, and Janice does a great job. I go back and remember in 2016 when we didn't have anyone and Janice came on, and it's gone uphill ever since then. I mean, we've plateaued maybe at this point, but it brings a lot of revenue in. So in many ways, as you know, Stephanie, at the airport and with the other agencies in the county that we work with.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for bringing this information to us and being here tonight.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Stephanie, I'm sorry. Can I mention one thing that I'm Janice, forgive me if you've said this. I think that one of the things also to remember is while occupancy is down in our region, it's down throughout the state. So this is not just something representative of our area. It's really down across the entire state. And so I just wanted to make sure that people recognize that as well.
Thank you, Councilor DeNova. I did not know you were on there. I apologize for that.
Oh, I just hopped on, so I was in a meeting, so my apologies for being late.
Oh, that's okay. We're glad you're here. All right, our next item on the agenda is our action items, and I did add an item that was not on the original agenda. We conducted interviews for our design assistance team prior to this meeting, and we had 4 applicants for 4 positions that are open on that committee. And 2 of the people that applied are already on that committee, Ryan Tuss and Ariane Lyons, who is the chair of that design assistance team. And then we had Lydia Hines apply, and I don't think, is she here? Lydia's here, there she is. And then Kyle, and I'm sorry, I don't have his last name. Tom Kyle. All right. Yes, Tom Kyle, he's been in the community for quite a while. He was not able to make it to the interview, but we did have his application. So at this point, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the 4 applicants to fill the seats, 2 of which are reappointments and 2 are to fill empty seats for Lydia Hines and Thomas Kyle to fill the empty seats, and Arian Lyons and Ryan Tuss to be reappointed to their seats.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the slate of candidates that applied for the position for the design assistance team. And are there any, oh, I'm sorry.
No, cool.
Are there, you had something you wanted to say.
I just
I'm sorry.
want to add and acknowledge a maybe perceived conflict of interest. Lydia Hines is my wife, so just throwing that out there.
And that is just a perceived conflict of interest, but we checked into that, and there is no conflict because there is no financial gain from that position. So, all right. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Councillor Kilmer, I just want to make sure, did Councillor Cribbins, is Tom Kyle, is he being recommended for this committee as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And just to clarify, Councillor DeNovo, there were 5 applicants, but 1 withdrew.
Okay, thank you very much.
So the 4 that he mentioned in his motion were the ones that had applied and interviewed, with the exception of Thomas Kyle.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries.
Welcome and thank you.
Thank you for your service too, as well. So, our next item on the agenda is a public hearing for consideration to approve the vacation of South 15th Street right-of-way north of Pennsylvania Avenue, and it would require enactment of an ordinance. And Jennifer, you're going to take that?
Thank you, yes. Before I start, Christine, do you have the ability to pull up an attachment associated with the staff report? It's the South 15th Street GIS exhibit. So while she's doing that, on October 7th, City Council, on behalf of property owner Compass Communities Inglewood LLC, initiated a right-of-way vacation request for a portion of South 15th Street just north of Pennsylvania Avenue. The vacated right-of-way will facilitate the construction of the proposed development of the property previously known as the Inglewood Elementary School. Comments were sought from all city departments and there were no objections. Comments were also solicited from local utility companies and there were no objections. As the vacation is within 100 feet of the shoreline, the city is required to seek input from the International Port of Coos Bay. The Port Commission considered and approved the vacation application at their November 20th commission meeting. Lastly, city staff has received no public comments for or objections to the proposed vacation. So if it pleases council, hold a public hearing to take comments, and if desired, enact an ordinance providing for the vacation of South 15th Street right-of-way just north of Pennsylvania Avenue. The ordinance will only be enacted if the land use application for the Inglewood development is approved.
Sorry about that. So this, I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing and take comments regarding the ordinance providing for the vacation of South 15th Street right-of-way. Is there anyone who would like to make a public comment? Since we have no comments, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. And how would the council like to proceed?
I'd like to make a motion that we enact the ordinance providing for the vacation of South 15th Street right-of-way just north of Pennsylvania Avenue. This
Second.
ordinance will only be enacted if the land use application number 187-25-000154-PLNG is approved.
I'll second.
Second, sorry about that, Troy, jumped in too soon.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Mayor, did you?
Yes, I seconded.
Oh, okay. We have a motion and a second to enact the ordinance providing for the vacation of South 15th Street right-of-way just north of Pennsylvania Avenue. The ordinance will only be enacted if the land use application is approved. and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oh, that's right. We have a roll call on this. I was going to be so good and remember that. So Christine, will you do the roll call?
An ordinance providing for the vacation of a portion of South 15th Street found in southeast one quarter of Section 3, Township 26, Range 13, west of the Willamette Meridian, Coos County, Oregon. Mayor Benetti,
Aye.
Councilor Kilmer,
Aye.
Councilor Stevens,
Aye.
Councilor Cribbins,
Aye.
Councilor Nieberko,
Aye.
Councilor Matthews,
Aye.
Councilor DeNovo.
Aye.
Ordinance number 591 will be duly enacted upon the enactment of the other ordinance.
All right, thank you. Our next item on the agenda is a public hearing to consider type 4 land use application number 187-25-000154-PLNG, map amendments, PUD/CUP. Inglewood Housing Development requires enactment of an ordinance. And I read this procedure now or before I open the public hearing? Or do we do a report?
No, you just keep reading. It'll open the public hearing, and then I'll give a report.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, there's some measures that I have to do for official purpose here, and so I will now open a public hearing on the land use application that I mentioned before. Today is January 20th, 2026, and it is 6:35 p.m. My name is Stephanie Kilmer. I am the city councilor and the presiding over the meeting. The city council will make a final decision on this application based on the complete record, including testimony received at tonight's public hearing. These proceedings are being recorded. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with Coos Bay Development Code and state law. For anyone wishing to speak, we are asking that you use the sign-up sheet that has been provided. When called upon to speak, you must state your name and address for the public record. We ask that each speaker limit themselves to no more than 3 minutes. Please remember that all presentations will be timed. You will be informed when your allotted time is expired. All speakers exceeding the time limit will be asked to immediately conclude his or her remarks. To minimize repetitive testimony, organizations are encouraged to have only one person speak for the group, with other members of the organization standing to show their support. Each person may testify only once unless called back to the podium at the request of a city council member to respond to a question. Thank you for your cooperation. Also, the city council is required to disclose any conflict of interest and ex parte contacts we have had with the proposal or applicant. That is, whether we have any financial or other personal interest in the proposal, or whether we have spoken with anybody about the proposed outside of this hearing. Do any council members wish to make disclosures, personal or financial? Anyone online? Are there any challenges from the audience as to conflicts of interest, ex parte contacts, or bias related to any member of the city council? And we did not have any challenges. State law requires me to tell you a number of things at the beginning of the hearing. First, the applicable substantive criteria that apply to this application are contained in the notice of public hearing, the written staff report, and will be identified, discussed in the oral staff report. Second, your testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed towards these criteria or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or development code that you believe apply to this application. Third, failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker or other people an opportunity to respond may preclude appeal of a decision on this application based on that issue. City Council will make the final decision. A decision of the City Council may be appealed to the Land Use Board of Appeals, also known as LUBA. We will now hear from staff, Chelsea, and the applicant, who will go over the staff report.
Great, thank you, Councillor Kilmer. So we are looking at a project, what we term Inglewood Housing Development Project. And let's see if I get my, yes. So there's a couple of action items, couple of land use permits needed for this case. It's a planned unit development for 30 units of workforce affordable housing on approximately 2.21 acres of land. A planned unit development is something we typically see on sites that are constrained when you're really trying to maximize the development of the property. A portion of these 30 units, they're going to be what we call zero lot line developments. It's where the units will share a wall along common property lines. That requires a conditional use permit. Also, excuse me, where it necessitates a need for amendment to your comprehensive plan map and the zoning map because the property is currently planned for higher density residential use and commercial use, and that zoning similarly reflects that, being zoned mixed use. The adjacent neighborhood is all small lot residential. And so that proposal is to match the existing neighborhood and develop something that would be permitted in the existing neighborhood. This is just a quick look at the map. This map at the top is a comprehensive plan map showing the property is starred, kind of orange. That just shows that it's planned for higher density development amongst all this lower residential density development. The zoning map, the same thing. The zoning mixed use is purple in the middle of all of this small lot residential development. So there's additional details in the staff report, and I can answer questions, any questions anybody has. I just wanted to give a brief background. The site, as Jennifer mentioned, is known as the Inglewood Elementary School site. That school was developed back in 1913. About 100 years later, 2014, the school was damaged by a fire and abandoned. And then it took until 2023 to complete environmental cleanup of the site. And so I just wanted to kind of touch on the partnerships that kind of got us to this point today, that both the city, Coos County, and then just community partnerships. The city's worked with the county and with nonprofit and private housing developers on concepts for the site. The idea really being to put some infill development in there that's going to mesh well with the existing development, so providing a mix of 2 and 3 bedroom single units. Again, this site is constrained with steep slopes, so it does necessitate some flexibility with the design and the siting. That's what that planned unit development is for. And then the proposal does include vacating that portion of unimproved 15th Street, and so that really is necessary to make this project work. This is the site plan, a site plan of the proposed development. You'll see coming off of Pennsylvania on the south and turning up South 15th Street. There's 2 units right here that wouldn't be possible without the vacation. So that's kind of how that vacation is serving this development proposal. You'll just see that there's a cul-de-sac, one way in. There are 2 ways in actually. This provides emergency access to the back of these units. I would say in the front are more the smaller units, and then as you go in the back, you'll get some of the larger single units. And the developer is here tonight. He can certainly speak to more of the fun details. This is a slide, just land use proceedings require certain notice, so this slide shows that that's been done. Department of Land Conservation and Development was notified appropriately. We posted notice at City Hall, on the website, and in the city's newsletter. We notified outside agencies and affected property owners within 300 feet of the site, and then notice was published in the World newspaper. Comments we received, Oregon Department of Transportation, anytime you make a change to your comprehensive plan map, they get a chance to weigh in. And typically, they're concerned if you're going from a lower impact planning designation, like a residential, to higher to commercial. We're going the reverse, and so they're not concerned with the proposal. Our Public Works Engineering Division, they've been working side by side with the developer. They have a list of conditions that are being addressed or will be addressed, and so that's just their comments were kind of addressing the standards that we want to see in place with the development. And then the general public, we've received lots of emails, phone calls inquiring. Planning Commission did receive oral and written testimony. The developers have been talking to neighbors, working with them to address their concerns, and so I'll let Darren with Compass Communities touch more on that tonight. But in the end, Planning Commission did conduct that first public hearing and ultimately recommends that Planning Commission approve the land use application, just subject to continued coordination with the city's engineering department to address the conditions. And then an approval of the application would also necessitate the need for enactment of an ordinance to confirm those amendments authorized to the comprehensive plan map and zoning map. And so, if you have any questions for me, happy to answer. The developer is here and they will have more to say.
All right. Do any of the council or Mr. Mayor, do you have any questions? Anyone online?
Chelsea, this has been an incredible amount of work. Excellent job to you.
Thank you.
All right.
I would just echo that. This is really good to see something happening here, and I'm really grateful to the developers for stepping up and working with the city to get this done.
Okay. Any other comments from the council? Any questions for the applicant? All right. Then I will go ahead and proceed to the public hearing. And first, we will now hear from any person in support of the proposal. Again, each will have 3 minutes, and please state your name and address for the record. Do I have anyone in the audience that is in support of? And we did not have any comments in support of, so we will now hear from any person opposing the proposal. Again, each will have 3 minutes. Please come to the microphone in an orderly fashion and state your name and address for the record. Do I have anyone that would like to make a comment? All right. We will now hear from anyone who is neutral to the proposal. Again, each will have 3 minutes. Come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
I feel like we should have a line of 50 people out there, just for the formality of what we're saying.
All right. All written comments received to date are included in the record. Did we have one, or was that on another? We had 3 hearings tonight, so
We did receive a comment to the administration email box, really more related to sidewalks on Pennsylvania.
Okay. And since we did not have any comments other than that, is there any rebuttal from staff?
Would council like to hear from the developer and get kind of an update on how things are progressing, how concerns have been addressed? We have Darren, who'd be happy to come up and speak.
Darren, would you like to give us an update?
Yeah, I would love that.
Yes, I would love to. Councilors, Mayor Benetti, councilors, staff, members of the public, thank you very much for the opportunity to visit. I do have some slides. If you'd like, we can go through those pretty quickly. Something tells me I need to get a clicker. And I want to just start by saying a very special thanks really to the city leadership for recognizing the opportunity, for recognizing the need for housing. Very special thanks to your staff for their teamwork. We work with communities all over the state of Oregon, and it's rare to find a team that works as well as yours do together. They look out for each other. They really raise the bar, which makes our jobs a little easier and a little harder at the same time. In other words, we can't get by with much, but they also have helped tremendously to pull this together. And I think one of the counselors online said this has been a lot of teamwork. Yeah, it has been a lot of teamwork, and we greatly appreciate that.
Before you move forward, I want to make sure that the counselors online can hear you okay? Can you hear?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, very well.
Okay,
Awesome.
Thank you. So my name's Darren Nichols. I'm a member of Compass Communities. I'm here representing our company. I have two of my partners who are also members of Compass Communities. Damon Olson is with me tonight. Damon's a builder extraordinaire. Also have Mark Shipman, who is our real estate and legal counsel, and as we like to say, a recovering county planner. So together we make, kind of a motley crew, but one thing about us as people is that we're committed to helping communities and people work together to solve problems. And so in that spirit, we attended the League of Oregon Cities conference, and there we met Mayor Benetti, and we met several city councilors. We met Nicole, and we just asked, are there any issues in Coos Bay that we could help with? And they said, well, there is this one site up at the old Inglewood school site that we've been struggling with, and we'd love to put housing there. So that's how we happened to be here tonight. It was really just to start with a conversation among people about solving a problem. So, or capturing an opportunity, I think is probably the way to frame that. Also have a number of other members of our team that are with us tonight. I want to shout out Eric Kirby is our civil engineer. Eric really is the brains and a lot of the weekend and night work behind, figuring out how to carefully position 30 new homes in a very compact site. And then we have our real estate expert here. Also, Julie Stevens is a member of the Coos Bay Realtor community, and Julie is helping us with a lot of good insights, and she'll be helping us to find people to put in those homes eventually. Who did I miss? Gerardo Mejia is also with us. He's an intern from Oregon State University, be graduating this spring with a degree in marketing. Okay, I think that's all of us. So yeah, thank you very much. All right, so
it might not be on, Darren. I turned it off when I was there.
Thank you.
It's on the side.
Janice, thank you.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. All right, so talked a minute ago about who we are. We really are collaborative community builders, helping people find solutions, and that could be all kinds of different kinds of challenges, but we really enjoy helping Oregon communities work together to build better communities, and I hope that shows tonight. But this clicker is pretty happy. So here's Inglewood. For those of you that don't know where Inglewood is, it's in the south end of Coos Bay. We'll talk a little bit more about the site, but you can kind of see it's down there at the very south tip of the city limits. Quick history. Chelsea already mentioned this school was built in 1913, so this site really served for 100 years. It served as a public elementary school, and then that school was burned in 2014, and it really, at that point, became kind of a dumping ground, and there's some activity. We've been doing a little bit of cleanup recently, kind of finding, things that were left there. But the city undertook a formal environmental cleanup, city and the county, which wrapped up in 2023. And I think this is where the city leadership and county leadership really started to demonstrate itself. Takes a lot of vision, foresight, and frankly, a lot of time and money to clean up a site like this. So in 2023, the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality deemed it no further action required. That basically then opened up the opportunity to start thinking about the future of a former school site. And then, as I mentioned, in 2025, we started conversations in earnest about how we might work together to put some homes on the site. And in particular, we address these goals that you see here: provide housing that's attainable to the Coos Bay area workforce. So for us, that means homes that people making 80 to 130% of the area median income can afford, on those, on their household income. So that also requires a little work to make sure that we're keeping our costs down in order to pass those savings on to deserving individuals and their households. So we also wanted to use this site, which is a very unique site, as a neighborhood infill, which is, requires some reinvestment, and also to do that in a way that helps build the community and supports the neighborhood around it. But more than anything, really demonstrate the art of the possible through cooperative partnership. And we've touched on that. So you're being asked to take 5 actions tonight. Vacate the unused right-of-way, which really is the old school bus turnaround. It's kind of an oversized cul-de-sac that obviously is no longer needed, so we're using that to put a couple extra homes in this neighborhood. And then, like Chelsea's already mentioned, amend the comprehensive plan from commercial to residential. Also amend the zoning from mixed use to small lot residential, and then adopt the layout for a planned unit development, which will create 30 new lots in a neighborhood plat. And then the conditional use permit will allow us to put some attached units, some attached homes. So they'll all be single-family homes. Each home will be on its own lot, but some of those homes will be attached to each other. Some of them will also be detached, but that's the goal. So here's the school back then. Many of you probably remember it when it was there on the site. Here it is in 2014 after it was burned and partially demolished. It really became kind of a dangerous site with all the materials just laying on the ground. Here it is in 2023, shortly after it was cleaned up. All the old school and the contamination have been removed, and the site's been cleared. And then here it is now. Actually, it's already old news. You'll see in a minute. But here's the site. If you're traveling up Pennsylvania Avenue, there's the intersection with South 15th Street. The site there is kind of straight ahead behind that power pole. If you go up Pennsylvania Avenue and then look back down, there's the site there kind of on the left. It used to be the old school parking lot entrance. This gives you a little sense for the topography on the uphill. It's pretty steep. There's a bunch of mature fir trees and some vegetation, but that bank there at the upper end is pretty steep. Here it is in that school bus turnaround, looking at the site, which used to be covered in grass. Just threw this in here. You can see that little lonely rectangle of purple down at the bottom. That's the mixed use. And you see the next nearest purple is actually in your downtown. So that zoning was really only appropriate because it was a school. Once the school use was removed, it really is just a residential neighborhood. So what we're asking you to do tonight is to change the zoning to reflect the residential nature. It's just a close-up of the same lonely little rectangle of mixed use. In the mixed use zone, you could have things like a drive-through restaurant, a bar, a commercial services establishment, things that generally you don't just put in the middle of a single-family neighborhood. So here's the site. This is the 1.91 acre site that's being rezoned. The entire site, which you'll see on the next slide, is actually 2.21 acres. But part of it is already zoned residential, so we don't need to do the rezone on the whole thing. So this shows you the whole site. It's a little bit hard to read on this slide, but you'll see on the left, the kind of bigger rectangle is the part that's being rezoned. That's the actual school site. Then on the far right, that little kind of bump out, part of that is an extra parcel that was owned by Coos County. The county just deeded that over as part of the site and made it part of the development. And then the little hatched area in the middle is where the right-of-way is being vacated. So together, that's almost 2.25 acres on 3 parcels. So we've talked about this a little bit. Just want to kind of tell you what it is that we envision here. This is residential. We want it to be an infill project that has a neighborhood feel. It fits into the neighborhood. These will all be owner-occupied units that are affordable to the local workforce. We'll add some neighborhood amenities. There'll be some shared parking. There'll also be a trail access to Illinois Avenue, which is just north of us. We want to protect existing neighborhood views. So you can see on the left-hand part of this slide, these homes, this is a neighborhood called Pennsylvania Place. This is a newer neighborhood. And some of these homes along the bluff here actually have beautiful views out through these fir trees. Our goal in developing this site is to, first of all, leave the mature trees that you see on the site, as many of those as we possibly can. We think we can leave almost all the trees there. And for these homeowners here, our rooftops will be below their level of view, so they'll still be able to see out over the marsh. And those are two things that were important to us in designing the site. I'm sorry, my apologies. Boy, this is really pretty sensitive. So we want to provide a mix of unit types and sizes. So Chelsea mentioned some of these will be 2 bedrooms, some will be 3 bedroom. They'll all have the potential for 1.5 baths or 2 bathrooms. So they're actually very comfortable layouts built for individuals or households. Some of them will be single story. The single stories will be fully ADA accessible. We've got a design that enables people who use a mobility device, either a chair or a scooter, to freely move in and around their kitchens and bathrooms and bedrooms. So some of them will be single level ADA accessible. Many of them will be 2-story. Some of them will be 3-story. So for the more able, the spry, those of us that still have our knees and don't mind stairs, there'll be some slightly taller units, and you'll see that in a minute. Ranging between 1,000 square feet and 1,500 square feet. So these are, modestly sized homes, but a very efficient kind of package. So here's the concept. You've seen this. 30 lots. It's a combination of some off-street parking. Every unit will have either a garage or a paved parking driveway. Most of them will have both. Some on-street parking. There are a few spots here where folks can park on the street or visitors can park on the street. Be sidewalks throughout and pedestrian access. And then, like I said, we try to keep as many of the trees as we can. So just a quick kind of look at what the neighborhood would look like if this is a 3D rendering, kind of helps us visualize it a little bit. Just kind of slide through. This is what it'll look like from the Pennsylvania side. This is what it'll look like from Illinois. If you could float up over Illinois Avenue, this is what it'll look like here. From 15th Street, you can see the connector through there. And this is the trail. Here's a little closer view. You can kind of see the trail coming down behind these homes, and then it'll make its way gently down this grade and connect to Illinois. So the whole neighborhood will benefit from a pedestrian connection there. So this is a kind of a pastel version of the 5-plex unit. We have one 5-plex unit. These will be the 3-story units. You can see we've got tuck under parking. These will actually be enclosed, most likely will be enclosed garages here, but you can see the room for each unit will have a park under garage. Then they'll have some extra storage back here, and then stairs will lead up to a main living area, and then bedrooms up on the 3rd floor. So here's some of the things that we heard from the neighbors and really the community. I think provided some very constructive feedback, which we appreciate. We appreciate the accolades, but we actually value more the concerns and kind of questions that people ask, because it's not our neighborhood, it's your neighborhood. And folks kind of know what works, what doesn't work, and so and also what's going on. So we heard about traffic, concerns about extra vehicles. Of course, there'll be extra vehicles. In 2022, our predecessors conducted a traffic study that demonstrated that even with 40 units under a prior plan, level of service would still be level of service A, or at worst level of service B. That means very good service on local streets. The capacity is here to handle lots of traffic. Our traffic engineer is taking a fresh look at that to make sure that's still the case, and will provide a letter to Jennifer shortly. Related to traffic, parking, there's always concerns about parking. There is some concern that it would be difficult to park an RV or a boat at one of these homes. That is true. It will be difficult to park an RV or boat. Not impossible, but it will be difficult. Our sense is that if it's important for people to have space, they will probably shop somewhere else. The market knows how to sort itself out. You can park a full-size pickup in any of these garages, but if you've got something attached to the back, you probably want to put it in storage or else look for a larger place. So, that said, there are almost 2 full parking spaces for every home in this, off-street parking spaces for every home in the development. So, yeah, we think there'll be lots of room for people to park and visitors to still come and visit. We'll have some no parking on one side of the street also to make sure there's plenty of room for fire access and for two-way traffic. So the oversized vehicles, we've already addressed that a little bit. We're taking a look at some CC&Rs, whether it makes sense to put some CC&Rs here that would prohibit oversized vehicles, trailers, RVs from being parked. We're kind of kicking that around to see how many rules it makes sense to try to put on this neighborhood and what's necessary, but we are taking a look at that. Sight distance and safety on Pennsylvania. Oh, sorry, I missed one. Sidewalks and streetlights. We'll have streetlights and sidewalks throughout the development, and if we need more, Jennifer will tell us, and we'll add more. But this will be well lit, and there'll be sidewalks throughout the entire development. Sight distance and safety on Pennsylvania. If you're coming down Pennsylvania, there's a little bit of a rise above us, and then a kind of a steep section of Pennsylvania, and it is steep there. But we've driven it a number of times. You can see really well that section of Pennsylvania is quite wide, so there's plenty of room. Our guess is just like the rest of the neighbors that are there now, people will learn to adjust and they'll drive safely. It's a 25-mile-an-hour street, and we think that's enough to keep things safe. Stormwater issues raised by a number of neighbors. That is a challenge, actually. And we've discovered some broken pipes and some old, kind of quirky old systems. That's, I think, the best way to say on the site. We're systematically working to either abandon those and replace them with new, fully functioning stormwater systems, or in a couple of cases to take what used to be sort of problematic runoff and divert it into the city's stormwater system. So we believe that through the development of this site, some of the downhill neighbors will actually see less stormwater around their places, and we'll stay in touch with them as we go to make sure that we're at least not making it worse, and our goal is to make the stormwater situation much better. There was a question about seismic stability at the Planning Commission hearing. We've had numerous geotechnical reports on the site. As we've started to dig a little bit, there's actually a ton of rock below the surface. So our sense is that if it was strong enough to hold an elementary school for 100 and some years, with all that rock, it's a safe site. It's not going to slide, and the geotech reports back that up. We heard some questions about the type of homes, the prices, and surrounding property values. That's always a concern. These will be brand new homes. They're not large homes, they're not custom homes, but they're very nice. I've been in a number of homes that we've built. I think any of us would be proud to live in them. They're modern, they have, tile floors, they've got all wood cabinets, they've got granite countertops, they've got state-of-the-art ductless heat pumps that are super efficient. They'll have metal roofs. We pride ourselves on delivering a product that anybody would feel comfortable living in, and these will be no different. The price point will be sort of straddles the average of the home prices in this neighborhood. So we did a little math. If I remember right, the least expensive kind of place around this is a little over $300,000. Our units will start the lower end will be offered at $225,000, ranging up to between $325 and $340. We're still kind of working to sharpen our pencils on the single family homes, but we're right in that price point. So we feel like it's a good fit for the neighborhood. All of these will be owner occupied. We're looking at some criteria for ownership that would require folks to live in the unit and also not own other property. So this is really intended for homeowners who have dreamed of owning a home, haven't had another opportunity, and this is an opportunity to get into the homeownership market. And so we're working to kind of explore those kinds of criteria, but the goal is that local workforce who don't have another option would be able to afford a home in this neighborhood. And I talked a little bit about CC&Rs. One of the neighbors up above us offered us a copy of the Pennsylvania Place CC&R, so we're looking at those and seeing if we can incorporate those into a similar set of covenants, conditions, and restrictions. This is a really dark slide, and I apologize, it's hard to see, but this is what the site looked like as of yesterday. It's all been cleared off. It's starting to look like a construction site. And then as of this afternoon, it doesn't even look like this anymore. It's already been dug up. So our crew is working hard. We have a local excavation contractor who's doing a good job up there. And of course, this weather has just been an incredible gift to work on the site. So yeah, we're moving some dirt, and here's what we kind of hope to be doing over the next little while. If you all are inclined to approve the tentative plat this evening, then that would enable us to record that plat in February. That would create the lots and would then enable us to begin applying for building permits. Our goal is to have the site ready to build on by the end of March. We hope to invite you all to a groundbreaking, presuming the weather holds a little bit sometime in the early spring, and then begin construction in April. Our real goal is to see if we can have all of these homes built in this calendar year. So we're moving quickly. We know that. I've seen Damon and his crews do this before, and I know that we can do it in Coos Bay. So we're looking forward to delivering quality homes this calendar year, and welcoming new neighbors to a new home as soon as we can. So if you have questions or complaints about, or concerns or questions, please reach out to me. I'm Darren. There's my contact information. If you're interested in learning more about opportunities to purchase a home, please reach out to our real estate colleague. Julie Stevens is here locally. She knows the market. She's very approachable, very easy to work with, and understands part of the mission, and is going to help folks get into a home. So please feel free to reach out to Julie if you have questions. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful presentation. Thank you. Are there any questions from the council?
Councilor Kemler, I have a question.
Go ahead, Sarah.
You spoke quite a bit about ensuring that these homes will be affordable. How are you going to do that, and what are you expecting the price point to be?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Councilor. We're going to ensure they're affordable partly by just working with your staff, and we've visited with at least a half a dozen realtors in the area to kind of understand the market. And so we believe that we've achieved a price range that fits that 80% of area median income to 130% that I mentioned earlier. That price range coincides with homes priced, as I mentioned, at $225,000 and then going up into the mid 300s. So we've been working with a pro forma that just consistently starts at that price range. That is where we will offer these homes for sale. We've also looked at some criteria that the state of Oregon uses for home ownership opportunities to make sure that these homes, that the buyers of these homes are eligible according to those criteria. So that includes living in the home, obviously having some kind of local source of income, and then not owning other property not owning other property. So these would be first-time home buyers who don't own another home. We feel like those criteria are, if they're good enough for the state of Oregon, they're good enough for Coos Bay. We'll continue to explore those to make sure that these are owner occupied by local folks who are, fit that income criteria.
Any other questions?
I would just like to add that I'm really excited to see this moving forward, and I really appreciated the update and the presentation. I learned a lot. So thank you to you and your team, Darren. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, any other questions from the council? I would just like to make a comment that I appreciate that this checks off a lot of the boxes that we've had. And since I've been on council, there's been a couple of properties that have been concerning for the council and staff. And those two properties are being taken care of. They were concerns not just for the property itself, but for the neighboring properties. And I appreciate so much attention to the details of those concerns that you heard from residents as well. Are there any questions of Chelsea?
Thank you, Darren.
All right. Do any counselors or the mayor have any further questions before we close the public hearing? Got to get my script out, make sure I do everything right. Okay, then I will close the public hearing and the record at 7:13 p.m. Now it is time for council deliberation. The council has received the recommendation of the Planning Commission and has conducted a second public hearing on this matter. The City Council may, 1, take action on the matter, approve with changes, or deny, or continue the hearing to a future date. How would the council like to proceed?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the land use application 187-25-000154-PLNG based on the information presented by the applicant, all evidence in the record to date, and the recommended findings of approval as presented, subject to condition that the developer continue to coordinate with the city to satisfy items addressed in Engineering Division staff report dated December 1st, 2025. And 2, enact an ordinance confirming those amendments authorized to the city of Coos Bay's comprehensive plan, map, and zoning map.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a second from Councilor DeNovo. So we have a motion to approve. Oh, I'm not going to read the whole thing. A motion to approve the land use application number 187-25-000154-PLNG map amendments PUD/CUP in the Inglewood Housing Development. And Christine, are you ready to do the roll call?
An ordinance amending the City of Coos Bay Comprehensive Plan Map Plan designation from commercial residential medium-high density to residential low density, and the zoning map zone district from mixed use to small lot residential for property identified as 1400 Pennsylvania Avenue, AKA tax lots 500 and 501, as shown on the assessor's map number 26S13W3BD. Counselor Kilmer.
Aye.
Counselor Stevens.
Aye.
Counselor Cribbins.
Aye.
Counselor Niebergall.
Aye.
Counselor Matthews.
Aye.
Counselor DeNovo.
Aye.
Mayor Benetti.
Aye.
Ordinance number 592 has been duly enacted.
Congratulations. Now the work begins. Even though it's been going on for quite a while, apparently. All right, our next item on the agenda is a public hearing to consider enactment of ordinance amending Coos Bay Municipal Code, Title 15, Buildings and Construction. And Marcy, you're up on this one.
Good evening. If it please this council, staff recommends to enact the ordinance to modify Coos Bay Municipal Code Title 15, Buildings and Construction. It was last comprehensively updated in 2008 and references previous international code language relating to buildings and new construction. As we've updated here and presented, it should help administrative rules and allow our property owners, contractors, public the support that we need to effectively administer our building codes program.
Thank you. And do we have any questions for Marcy? I don't see anyone online. So how would the council like to proceed?
Do we have to have a public hearing on this?
Oh, I guess we should probably do that, huh? All right, I will at this time, go ahead. Just try to get through it. I was just so glad to get through the last script. I will go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have anyone that would like to speak on this update to the municipal code? And we don't have anyone, so I will close the public hearing. And how would the council like to proceed?
I would like to recommend that we enact the ordinance to modify the Coos Bay Municipal Code Title 15 Buildings and Construction.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to enact ordinance to modify Coos Bay Municipal Code Title 15 Buildings and Construction. You ready for the roll call?
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Coos Bay amending Title 15 of the Coos Bay Municipal Code, Buildings and Constructions. Councilor Stevens.
Aye.
Councilor Cribbins.
Aye.
Councilor Niebergall.
Aye.
Councilor Matthews.
Aye.
Councilor DeNovo.
Aye.
Mayor Benetti.
Aye.
Councilor Kilmer.
Aye.
Ordinance number 593 has been duly enacted.
All right. Our next item on the agenda is, almost touchy little thing here. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the Urban Renewal Agency's annual financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. And Nicole, are you going to take that?
Yes, I'm going to take this. The Urban Renewal District operates under Oregon revised statutes, and one of those requirements is an annual report, which is presented to the presiding entity, the City of Coos Bay, for your review and approval. Upon that, it is then distributed to the overlapping taxing districts, so they have an understanding of the work that's been done with the tax increment dollars that they've allowed to be set aside for projects in the City of Coos Bay. This report, we are required to provide certain pieces within the report itself, and you're going to find those towards the back. They're the financial data pieces. Those include the amount of property tax received, both the tax increment and any special levy amounts, including also indebtedness incurred during the preceding fiscal year, the purposes and amounts for which this money was received, and how it was expended, an estimate of the amount of property tax revenue to be received and the indebtedness to be incurred in the current fiscal year, and a budget summary setting forth the purposes and estimated amounts for which property tax revenue and indebtedness incurred are expended. And finally, an analysis of the impact, if any, on the overlapping taxing districts. So what you have been presented to you is a little bit more robust than is required by ORS. We could just show those financial tables, but this agency has chosen to kind of expand, and we go into a little bit more detail in what an urban renewal district can provide in a community, kind of have some discussion around the two district plans that we have in place, and then provide some visuals, some photos, and some narrative around the projects that were supported in the year. So that is what you have before you. We are asking for your acceptance of that report, and then we will complete the process. There is a publication that goes in the newspaper, along with distribution to the overlapping taxing districts.
All right, are there any questions from the council?
No question, but just to say I appreciated the graphics and giving that context before and after. I think that makes it really clear to folks. So it certainly made it clear to me. So thank you.
Anyone else have any comments?
None here. Thank you, though.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Urban Renewal Agency's annual financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the Urban Renewal Agency's annual financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025, and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. And our next item on the agenda is consideration to initiate a vacation for a portion of South First Street, the south end of Coos Bay. And Jennifer.
Thank you. Christine, can I trouble you to bring up that vacation exhibit in the staff report? Thank you. The existing Waste Connections transfer station utilizes a portion of the platted South First Street right-of-way, approximately 540 feet in length, located between Lockhart Avenue and Coalbank Slough. This segment of South First Street does not provide through access or broader vehicular connectivity for the general public, and Waste Connections owns all 6 parcels that abut this portion of the public right-of-way. Waste Connections is proposing upgrades to its transfer station facility and has requested that the City Council initiate the vacation of this portion of South First Street. The proposed vacation is necessary to accommodate a modernized facility that improves their on-site circulation. If the council is agreeable, a street vacation process can be initiated pursuant to Coos Bay Municipal Code Title 12.45. Council initiation of this vacation would provide an advantage by reducing the redevelopment and construction timeline for the upgraded transfer station. Upon initiation, affected property owners would be notified, and the council would conduct a public hearing at a future meeting. Waste Connections consultant Jay Harland is online. He's with CSA Planning, should you have any questions.
All right. Thank you for the report. Any questions of either Jennifer or the gentleman from Waste Connections? Then how would the council like to proceed?
Well, as the motion king, I would like to make a motion to initiate the process to begin a street vacation for the portion of South First Street between Lockhart Avenue and Coalbank Slough.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to begin the process for a street vacation for a portion of South First Street between Lockhart Avenue and Coalbank Slough. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
And that is all we have under action items, so I'll move to the city manager's report.
Thank you. I'll keep it a little bit short. First of all, apologies for the challenges in the room tonight. I would note that the sound in the room is much improved from last time, so we did make some headway, but maybe a little step back on the rest of the sound. We are continuing to work on that and looking at opportunities here in this space. So just a reminder that the Bay Area Chamber of Commerce annual awards banquet is happening on Saturday at the Coquel Casino and Resort. Still available for folks to attend if you wish. Also, reminder if there's any interest in attending Water Day at the Capitol. That's on February 2nd. It is all things water, so we would go there definitely to support the work we do, which is in wastewater and stormwater. Anything we can do to elevate our efforts here and needs, including setting up meetings with our representatives, legislators there. This year, you've probably already heard, and we are underway gathering folks from the community to come up with a celebration during the summertime for celebrating the country's 250th birthday. And then finally, I just wanted to comment, I know our auditor gave some feedback during her presentation. It was a little bit challenging to hear that in the room. But just to kind of acknowledge the work that's happened with the finance department, we have a young team in that department, and so not only did they complete the work and pass flying colors, we had a single audit this year, which is anytime you spend greater than $750,000 in federal money, you're scrutinized to a different level, and they passed that as well. So I just want to acknowledge that work, really give a big kudos to Brianna for stepping in and running fast and furious for a couple months before audit came in. So that's what I've got.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. And I agree. We have great staff here, and I appreciate that. Now I will move to the city manager's report, to the mayor and council comments. And how about we start with Mr. Mayor? You always have to go last.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to reiterate what Nicole said about the audit. I'm always pleased that we get clean audits, and it's something that's unique, and so we're proud. I'm proud of that, and I think we should be proud of the staff. Also, the Inglewood development, this has finally come to fruition, and it's great to see. I want to thank the Compass Group for moving forward on this project, and of course, I want to thank the staff for making this possible. And so I look forward to see it. We have a housing problem, and this will fill a need, and so I'm pleased to see that. And last, Stephanie, thank you for filling in. Appreciate it. End of my comments. Thanks.
No problem at all. Well, my mouth didn't work for a little bit there, but Councilor Matthews.
Thank you. I would just like to echo the appreciation for city staff who did a great job with the accounting and our fiscal audit. That's a big job, but there's also just a lot going on, and I'm really, really excited to see some housing coming through and all the work that's being done on that, and whether it's on the developer side or the city staff side. And I also am very grateful for all of the input that community members had in relation to that development. That it's definitely important to be involved in any way that you can, and to give that constructive feedback. And it sounds like the developers really doing their best to listen and try to address those concerns, and definitely put me at ease with our votes and what we have to do while listening to the concerns from the community. So appreciate that, and really happy to see things moving forward. That's all I have.
Councilor Stevens.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I echo the comments about the audit. Shout out to that team. It's a big deal, and keeps our city in good standing for future dollars, and just shows that we're being great stewards of that money. So thank you. Also great to see the Inglewood development moving forward. And this is something that I've spoken to both Chelsea and Nicole about, but I'm still really curious to start looking at how we work on some of the blight, especially in downtown, whether that's a vacancy tax or a blight tax. I'd really like to continue to put that at the top of a list, because while we are seeing some new development happening, I know that the blight in downtown is also impeding future development. Thank you.
Councilor DeNovo.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank Mayor Benetti, Councilor Matthews, and Councilor Cribbins. And I all attended a meeting with the Port of Coos Bay last week, and it was a great meeting. And the port commissioners were essentially gave us the nod. There'll be more conversation, but big picture, they gave us the nod to proceed with the project on Front Street that I do not believe would impact those 14 parking spots. So it was very encouraging. And I just want to commend them again for really listening to the community, being transparent in that process. And so I think it's not only a huge win for this community, but a huge win for them as well. So thank you.
Councilor Cribbins.
Microphone.
There, is that better?
Yes,
I wanted to say
indeed.
I really appreciate our staff and how they are short-staffed, working with tight budgets and timelines, and they're able to turn these big projects and these changes in the code on a quick dime so that we can keep moving forward with our vision. And it wouldn't happen without you doing it. And on top of the audit, and it's nice to see this development coming. It's nice to see the Front Street plan moving forward. I do want to echo what Councilor Stevens said. I love the development we're doing, but I want us to not forget downtown, the core. We don't want to see a ring of development around the outside and then downtown just kind of go to disrepair. And so I know we are focused on it, and we want to keep that focus so we can keep the pressure there, and so that the entire community is a complete community, right? So we address all of us that live here in our community and call it home. And those are my comments.
Councilor Niebergall.
Last but not least, well, you guys have all said very similar things, so I'll just say that it was very nice to hear Mr. Nichols mention how awesome it was to work with our team here, and my hope is that that permeates out into the industry and we keep getting great projects out here because we got great people. So thank you guys for representing us well.
All right, and I would just like to say again, I think it's all been said before, but thank you to our staff. And also thank you to the people who step up to volunteer. Appreciate all the folks that stepped up on the design team. I think they have some ideas, and some of those things that Councilor Cribbins and Councilor Stevens mentioned, that maybe our design team, which has all these great minds from a variety of backgrounds, may be able to tackle some of those issues that we have in downtown and in Empire. But I think we can be creative in working as well with the Economic Vitality Committee of the Coos Bay Downtown Association. I know that's on their agenda as well. So I think we're moving forward, and if we can just get everybody together, I think maybe we can even further that. I do also want to take off my council hat. Oh, wait, no, before I do that, I want to thank Councilor Matthews as well for stepping up and meeting with Senator Merkley. Last week, we had an opportunity to talk about economic development and urban renewal, not just with Senator Merkley, but also at the Chamber of Commerce Wednesday Business Connection. And it was a very positive experience. I've been to the State of the Cities, and Coos Bay just always is so positive when we present there, because there are a lot of great things that are happening here. There's work to be done too, but I thought that the presentation that Councilor Matthews presented as well, not just the urban renewal, but talking about housing and how those things tie together, is very positive for our community. So I just wanted to say thank you for him stepping up and doing that, and getting the ear of a federal legislator. And then finally, I'm going to take off my council hat, and I want to make sure that the council and the citizens of Coos Bay are invited to an open house on Tuesday, January 27th at the Southwest Oregon Regional Airport, which is the Coos County Airport District. They are starting their 10-year master plan for the future. It's that time again, and the airport continues to grow. We've seen what an influx it has been over the course of years, recent years, experiencing record passenger numbers. I've seen several councilors getting ready to get on those flights, so we appreciate that. But it's going to give direction on where we want this to be in the future, and it will give direction to the board, of Commissioners and the future leadership of the airport. And so that is on January 27th, which is Tuesday. I know that we have a council work session, I think, that night. But there will be other opportunities. It's from 5 to 7, so you still have time to pop by. And it's at the airport terminal. You can pick up a handout, or I can bring some for the council. But citizens are certainly welcome. This is your airport, and we hope that you will take time to come, just drop in and talk to the folks that'll be putting that plan together. And that's all I have. So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn the city council meeting, and